Good evening, everyone. Good evening, guys. Hello. Good evening. I'm just trying to get the setup right, and then I will start off with today's session. Good evening, guys. Good evening. Hello. Just want to check if everything is fine and if I'm audible. Say hi, guys. Drop in some love, some comments. Say hi. Yes, so we can get started. I think things are all good to go. A very good evening to everybody. Welcome to yet another session with FevicreaTV, where you get to Fevicreate something every weekend with me, Shanta Prabhu. And today's session is again something which is on a theme that is probably ringing in. We've got monsoons around the corner, and monsoons are about fun, about making paper boats, sitting indoors and crafting. And with all of this, we've got small green monsters that accompany monsoons. And yes, I'm talking about frogs. Okay, so I hate frogs. Trust me, I hate frogs. I get terrified when I see frogs. But then I guess they have this, there's something cute about frogs, and when you look at the animated versions of frogs, they look very fairy tale like. So today's craft is based on the theme of monsoon and frogs, and today we are going to make a Mr. Froggo treasure container, where you can use the container to keep your small trinkets and knickknacks, and maybe you can use it on your table, on your side table, to store anything that you want to. And yes, so that's about it. We will be using what we will be using for this particular craft is something that is available in your house. We are going to use an old coconut shell. Yes, that's right. There's no surprise about it, because this is something which will readily be available in anybody's house. All you need to do is take a coconut, cut it into two halves, neat, squarely cut it into halves, and use it. Okay, so to cut a coconut, I'm using a coconut shell. Okay, so I'm very bad at breaking a coconut, so I've taken help to do this. I would suggest that you take, for all the kids out there, you will have to take help from somebody to break the coconut, and after that you can just get crafting. So I'll move the camera down and show you my craft table, and maybe after that we can get started. So I will just check if I'm still in focus and look up a few comments, so that I get to know that my craft table is visible. So if there is any issue, please drop in a comment and let me know. I'm just reading up all the comments. I'm just trying to see who all are with me. Good evening to all those of you who've just joined in. I'm so glad that you could make it to today's FevicreaTV TV session. And yet another week of some craft fun activity, and we are making something new, something different. We are trying to upcycle or repurpose an old coconut shell, and we're going to make something fun out of it. Yes. So I guess it's all good to go. I hope this particular space is visible, and I can just maybe start crafting. So like I was saying, I've got a coconut shell, and I will be using this to make today's craft. What we are going to make is a nice frog container, which I will be showing you. So this is what we are going to make. This is a nice treasure container made using a coconut shell. So we are trying to paint the coconut, add all the fine detailing, and when you open it up, it works as a nice container to keep all your stuff. So I'll start off. I'll just start crafting right away. So I've taken a coconut shell and I've tried to remove all the husks around it. And I will have to give it a very smooth finish, for which I will be using a sandpaper. So sandpaper helps you smoothen out any surface, and you can just cut a small portion of the sandpaper so that it's easier for you to use, and neatly sand the surface of the coconut. So when you do that, all the husk that is present flakes off. So this falls off in the form of flakes. So when you have a nice smooth clean surface and you apply a glue on top of it, you have things that adhere very well onto a clean surface. So it's always better to have a nice clean craft surface to work with. So this is how you need to clean the surface of the coconut shell. Once this is done, I will be taking a mixture of our power glue. So we are going to use Fevicol A+. Fevicol A+ is a glue which works on all types of surfaces. It's a multi-surface glue, and no wonder it works on surfaces like even coconut. So you can imagine how this is like a perfect product, which is like the must-have in every crafter's stash. So yeah, we'll just start off with using a little bit of glue. I'm going to take a good amount of the glue, and I will be adding a little bit of water to this. So I will take a little bit of water and I'm going to give it a very good mix. Once this is mixed, I'm going to apply this on the surface of this coconut. So I will quickly apply this. So like I was saying, Fevicol A+ is being used here to work on the surface of a coconut shell. Now this is a multi-purpose glue. It works on all surfaces. So it's like you can stick anything using this. Today we are trying to stick paper and work on the surface of the coconut. I will need more glue because I need to apply it on the entire surface of the coconut. So I'm going to take some more glue. And I will again add some water. This helps me in the application of the glue to some extent. I'm applying this with a brush. I'm using a flat brush because it's easier for application. Flat brushes are brushes which have a square tip. So these are fine art flat brushes that I'm using. This is a bigger brush. You could use brush number 10 for application for such huge surfaces. When you want to quickly apply glue, you can use this. So I will be applying the glue. I'm almost done with this part. Yeah, so I'll apply glue on the other side. Yes, so I'm done with the application of glue, and I will keep this aside. Now what I need is strips of newspaper. So I've taken newspaper and I've cut it into strips like these. I'm going to cover the entire surface of the coconut shell so that it gives me a very smooth surface, and it becomes easier for me to work on top of it. And yeah, like I was saying, I'm sticking paper to a coconut shell using this glue. So you can imagine how strong this particular glue is. And once we are done with this, we are going to work with clay. So this is one interesting craft because you get to learn crafting, paper cutting, and a little bit of painting, and you get to learn even clay. So this is one fun technique where you get to learn so many things. This is an interesting DIY. Okay, so I've got all the newspaper stuck onto this well, and I'll just work on cutting all the excess paper so that I get a very neat finish. So once that is done, it will take some amount of time to dry, but since I'm in a live session, what I will do is I will continue with the next step where I need to apply a coat of light green. So this is something that you need to do on both the coconut shells. To make the coconut shell a little opaque, what we can do is we can also use a layer of white. So I'm going to start off with the first coat, and I will quickly paint this. So this makes the entire thing, since this coat is very opaque, I will not be able to see the newspaper that's lying under the paint. So that gives me a very good finish. So I will quickly get done with this. And Yes, I'm almost done. So I'll give it a couple of minutes to dry, and I will try to do something else when this is drying. Okay, so I will keep this aside for now, and yeah, so I'll keep this aside, and I will talk about the clay modeling which we are going to do. So we are going to work with Rangila Creative Clay. So Rangila Creative Clay is just normal modeling clay. Okay, it's modeling clay which can be used by children age 3 plus, and it comes in different colors. You can see the variety or the range of colors that are there, and this is it's fun to work with clay because you know it helps to keep children a little occupied, and gives them a chance to spend time doing something very constructive. And you know it's it's a way to work with your muscles, hands, your finger muscles and your hands. So this is a very challenging, it offers challenge also to children, so it keeps them engaged. And it improves dexterity of the hands, that is the movement of the hand muscles. It also fosters hand-eye coordination, that is, it improves the fine motor skills of a child, and it helps to build attention span. So this is a very good activity for children, when you're sitting indoors, especially during the rainy season, you really can't go out. So you have to think of different activities to keep your child occupied. This is for parents, and for children who want to do something at home, it's a fun learning activity to play with clay. And when you have so many colors to choose from, you can try making whatever you want. So I'll just open this pack that I have, and we'll try to make a few characteristics for the frog container. We are calling our frog container as Mr. Froggo. Isn't that such a cute name? So I'll be using green, and I'll be using white, and I'll use a little bit of black, and I might need a rolling pin, so I will be taking that out as well, and I'll keep that aside. Okay, so I will mold this clay. I'm trying to use both the colors so that I have a nice shading effect. So I'm trying to make the hands and legs of the frog. If you see this frog container that I have, I'm trying to make the hands and the legs and the eyes. So I will quickly do that. So this is how you mold the clay. You can see how much of effort goes into working with the clay to give it a particular shape. So that's why it exercises your hand muscles, and it's nice to, generally art and craft helps to keep kids engaged, even adults. It's very nice to indulge in a nice craft or art activity at least once a week, because it's a nice memorable way to spend time with your family. You get to make something, and when it comes to kids, there's less amount of TV time, because when they're working on something like this, you don't have them glued to the television. So I'm trying to make nice circular shaped balls. This way, these two are almost of the same size, and I'll have something which is the size of this, and I'm using this for the legs, and this is going to be used for the hands. So I need to make a cylindrical shape. Now if I have to work with the clay and make a nice uniform cylinder, I have to start from the center and move the pressure to the sides. So I can do it with a single hand. Try to apply the pressure and move outwards so that I have a nice cylindrical shape which is of almost the same dimension throughout. So instead of applying the pressure at just one point and having varied thickness throughout, it's better to start from the center and move outwards. Start from the center, move outwards. So you can actually see how much of concentration and skill goes into making this. So that's exactly what we want to build all the skills of a budding artist. Yeah, so I've got this ready, and I will nicely cut this. So I'm going to cut it somewhere in the center and have this for one hand and this one for another hand, and again I will make two small balls for the hands of the frog, and I could flatten it out with a pin, rolling pin, that way. And yes, this one also, and I'll keep this aside. I will have to shape this into a teardrop shape by applying pressure on one side. So I'm going to take it in my palm and apply pressure on one side and get this shape. It's a nice teardrop shape, and I'll do the same thing for the other one. So I've got two thighs of the frog ready. I'll flatten this dough, and okay, I might just make it into another teardrop shape and then flatten it so that it's easier to work on making the webbings of the toe. So frogs have webbed fingers. Frogs are amphibians, and if you see between our fingers we've got this small piece of skin. This is called the webbing. So this star sort of a shape is what we need to create here. So this small flap of skin is a little more in frogs. So you have to give it a nice shape with, you can just cut it with a scissor. It's very easy to use this clay because it's very soft. It doesn't harden, and if you want to store it, you can store it in a nice airtight container and you can use it whenever you want to. So this is made of color pigments and wax, so it's got very the contents are not at all toxic, so this is fine to use, you know, for kids who want to craft with this. It's not at all a harmful product, and children can have fun playing with this. So I'm just trying to make the hands, trying to give it some shape that way. Talking about monsoons, what is your favorite idea or the best idea about a rainy day? I would just like to get some nice intelligent comments from all our viewers out there. How do you enjoy a rainy day? For me, a rainy day is all about a nice hot cup of coffee and my favorite fries from McDonald's. You need to try their hot coffee. It's amazing. And everybody knows about McDonald's French fries. It's just the best thing, to have on a rainy day. Sit, craft, have your favorite fries and some nice hot coffee on the side to sip. Isn't that fun? Yes, so I'm done with all the parts, the limbs of the frog. Now I have to take a little for the eyes. So I'm going to take almost an equal amount of the clay, and I will knead it well and shape it into eyeballs. Now you'll have to make sure that both the eyes are almost of the same size. Otherwise, it might end up looking a little funny. We want the frog to look a little cute, don't we? So this is the eye, and I will be using a small portion for the pupil of the eye. So I'm going to make a nice small pupil for the eye. And once this is done, I will have to make sure that this gets hardened. So for that, I will have to use Fevicol A+. So what I will do is I'm going to take a good amount. Okay, let me just pour it into the palette and apply it with a brush. I think that is going to be easier. Now this is the best part about today's DIY. So you've got this soft clay and you've worked it into a particular shape. So how are you going to save the shape of it? You have to apply one nice layer of Fevicol A+, and it gets hardened. So it takes some amount of time to cure, but then about like in 24 hours, you will see that the clay has, it retains the shape that you've given it, and it's good to go. So this is the craft secret of the day. Use Fevicol A+ on modeling clay and it gets hardened. So that's exactly what we're trying to do. We are coming up with, a lot of creative ideas, innovative ideas, a lot of crafting tips and tricks and so many DIYs. And this is going to happen every week, every Sunday from 4:30 on the FevicreaTV page. And yes, FevicreaTV is working to get a lot of craft recipes for everybody, and I hope all of you are enjoying what FevicreaTV is trying to do. So okay, I've got this coconut shell. The white portion is almost dry. So without any further ado, I will paint the coconut shell into a green color. So I will just try to quickly paint this. Since it's a live session, I'm trying to do things back to back, but you can give it a good amount of drying time and maybe leave about a half an hour or so in between each layer of work that you're trying to do. This also gives a nice shaded effect. I just love the way how the colors just blend so well. So I guess I am almost done with all the edges. Yeah, so I will keep this aside, and I hope that's also going to dry properly so that I can stick all the features of the frog, our cute little Mr. Froggo. That's such a nice cute name, isn't it? Mr. Froggo. So I've got another shell which I've already done, and it's just that we are going to place this one over the other and work on all the other features of the frog. But for now I'll just let that dry, and I will work on the crown of the frog. So I'm going to take a small piece of paper and I'm going to draw the crown. So I will just fold this into half because I have a problem with trying to work with symmetrical objects. So what I do is I just fold it into half and I draw one portion and I cut the two layers together. So I get a nice symmetrical shape. Now what I'll do is I am going to cut this along this line that I've drawn this way. It's always nice to fold the paper into half and sketch one side, so you have instead of doing double work. See, even the cutting is done with just half the effort. So that way, and maybe I'll just cut this portion so that it helps me a little, and I am almost done. So I've got the crown. I'll nicely give it a shape, further shape it if I want to. And now I can paint it. So to paint the crown, I'll be using lemon yellow. Okay, so now talking about all the paints that I've used. I have used light green to paint the frog. To paint the crown, I will be using lemon yellow. Yeah, I need my brush. So I'll just wash my brush, wipe it. See, because I used it to paint the green color, I'm trying to change the color, so I need to wash my brush. I need to wash it well. And make sure it's dry, and then I can paint over it. Nice lemon yellow color. And I'm done with that. So I'll keep this aside. And now what I'll do is I will try to work on all the other fine detailing. So I'll just take the eyes and I'll use a little bit of glue and stick the pupil. So that is going to be the eyes of Mr. Froggo. Yes, so the eyes are done, the crown is done, all the limbs are done, and this is going to be the top portion of Mr. Froggo. So what I will do is I am going to start sticking on top of this. So I've taken one side of the coconut shell which I've painted, and I will just stick this. So I'm just trying to stick the eyes there, and maybe I will try to paint a portion of the smile of Mr. Froggo. So I'm trying to work on this. In the meanwhile, I am waiting for this one also to dry. So I'm going to take acrylic black paint. I'm using FevicreaTV colors to paint all the detailing for Mr. Froggo. You can also use Rangila tempera colors if you're not able to find any acrylic colors nearby. So I am going to look at exactly where I will need the smile of Mr. Froggo. He's got a nice big mouth. Frogs have huge mouths, no wonder they croak so badly. So you've got to make a nice big mouth for Mr. Froggo. So I'm just trying to use FevicreaTV black to paint Mr. Froggo's smile. That way. And once that is done, I will stick his hands. So the hand portion comes on the top part of the coconut. Top part of the coconut shell. So the portion where I've got his face. So I'm going to try to stick the hand portion. I'm going to glue this. Now this is clay, so it's going to take the shape of the coconut shell. And I'm just trying to make sure that I've spaced it out at equal distances. I'll just stick it and I'll turn it around so you can have a look. At the whole thing. So yeah, so I guess it's almost equally spaced out. So no, I'll have to move it a little. Yeah, so that is the hands or the arms of Mr. Froggo, and I will try to stick his hands here. That way. I'll have to make sure it doesn't come over the mouth. I'm going to stick the other one as well. So I'm using Fevicol A+ for all of this. So you can see it's a multi-purpose glue. It works on almost all surfaces. So it sticks clay, it sticks paper, you can use it on a coconut shell. And yeah, now I'm doing this part, the top part or the crown of Mr. Froggo. And this part is done, so I will keep this aside so that it dries and it sets well. Meanwhile, I will work on this coconut shell. It's a little semi-dry, so I guess it's still fine. I can work on all the fine detailing. So that's how it sits. Okay, I've taken the flatter portion or the bottom portion of the coconut shell so that I don't have Mr. Froggo toppling over. Now what I'll do is I will just stick the limbs of Mr. Froggo, the feet of Mr. Froggo. I'll make sure that it is sticking well. It has a little bit of support. And another one on the other side. Yeah. And I will then stick the foot. So this is the bottom portion of Mr. Froggo, and once this is done, I can try to work on some more detailing. So what I'll do is I'll turn this thing around so that you understand what I'm trying to do. Okay, while it's still drying, I will try to paint the bottom part of the smile of Mr. Froggo. So he's got a nice big mouth. So I am painting his smile. That is, when he opens his mouth, it's a nice big laugh and he says croak. So that is done, and I will try to add some more fine detailing that way. Now frogs have a lot of colorful spots on their skin, so maybe you can add a couple of those. And yes, between two colors, it's always advisable to wash your brush and then load the next color. Now, I'm trying to take a color which was launched a couple of years back. It was probably launched a year back. This is greenery. It's one of my favorite colors. And when you're trying to paint a frog, greenery is like a must use color. I mean, I had it in my stash, so I just thought of using this. The name of this color is greenery. It's a nice soothing green. And I'll just be using it to paint the spots on Mr. Froggo that way. So I am not able to see the other side. I don't want to turn him too much because he's still drying. Like I said, it's always advisable to give like some amount of drying time in between coats. So, and then that's how you can add all the finer detailing. And we'll have to give him a tongue. So for the tongue, I'm using a pink. This color is salmon pink. Nice color. I'm just using it for a small portion of the tongue. It's a nice bright pink. If you are not able to find these acrylic colors, you can use Rangila tempera colors also. We are trying to, bring these craft sessions to you with whatever you can use, like whatever is available at an arm's distance in your house. So that's the idea. We want everybody to start crafting. So feel free to, express your creativity and your style and share it with us. We would love to see whatever you have made. Okay, so now this is the smile of Mr. Froggo. Now I've made two portions. I will not be lifting this because the glue takes some amount of time to cure and dry, and all these elements will stick very well if I give it some amount of drying time. So I don't want to move this and disturb the entire thing. So I've already made another Mr. Froggo and he is equally cute. So I will show you how the entire thing is. Oops. Yes. So this is another Mr. Froggo. Two Froggos, too good to be too cute. I've got two of them now. So I made this using two halves of the coconut shell and lot of tools. There are two eyes, two hands and two legs, and I have nicely made all these shapes and I've assembled it together. You just have to make sure that you when you're painting the smile of Mr. Froggo, it has to be aligned properly, and when you open it up, it's a nice storage box. I think this is something very cute that you can have on your tabletop, and it's a nice green piece to add to a corner. So I think this is something cute and a must try DIY. So if you people feel so, then please do let me know. What I'm going to do right now is I'll just turn the camera back so that all of you can look at my face, and I'll just try to wind up this session. So hi, hello. I hope I'm visible. I hope my head's not cut off. I always think about while moving this camera back, I just don't want half my head to get cut. Okay, I'll just see if things are fine, and then maybe wind up the session. Yes, so it's fine. We are good to go. And yes, so FevicreaTV along with McDonald's is trying to challenge all you creative brains out there to come up with your creativity skills. Try to do something and share it with us. You can use the hashtag FevicreaTV, FevicreaTV, and tag FevicreaTV and tag McDonald's India, and share your creations with us at the earliest. Okay, so the moment we are done with this live session, just get going, pick up two coconut shells and start crafting. So it's not just about challenging. We are trying to keep all the children engaged. We are trying to get a lot of craft sessions every week, so that children have something nice to look forward to every week. So it's not about challenging people creatively. We are also offering a lot of prizes to the top submissions or the top entries that we have every week. So I would want everybody to participate. I would want to see everybody's creations. I would also want to mention that last week we had such lovely burgers or burger containers that were created by these cute children. The burger containers were so cute, and we've got a few lucky winners. I would want to congratulate all those who participated and all those who won. I'm looking forward to all of you to participate again, and a few new contestants also. So keep creating, keep having fun, do something creative every day, every week. Keep sharing them with us, and if you liked this video, please like, share, subscribe to all the updates on our page, and stay tuned. Take care. Happy crafting. This is Shanta Prabhu saying bye and all the best for this week's contest. So take care. Bye bye.